you know, there it is. Look.
So fascinating because it seems like all along the way you're being drawn. Like he drew you here. You talked about in the first video we did on the channel, you talked about being convinced that you didn't know how, but you just knew you were supposed to be here. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's pulling you in.
Yep.
You know, you knew you were supposed to do something.
Yeah.
And y'all just decided to act. And the further you went in your journey, we pulled you to the beach and then pulled you to this thing and pulled you to the city.
And it's amazing to look back because it's so much more clear now. These things weren't so clear in that time and in that day. It looked like pure chaos to me, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's so important sometimes when we go through things or when we're praying for things or whatever it may be, time is important. Sometimes it's important to give things time because this perspective that I'm speaking from now is so much better than the actual time that I'm speaking of.
Well, you're in a storm, right?
Yeah, right.
When you're in a storm, you can't see how big it is.
Right. That's exactly right.
You have to step out of it to see it. Yeah, so you didn't, but now you can see the stuff clearly.
Yeah. And so it's very important that I just, after a little time passed, the Lord brought me to a place where I can, you know, I've got a better perspective of what He was up to and what He was doing.
Yeah.
When I was in that storm. Yeah.
And the further you got, the more. I guess you had to get through it though.
Yeah.
So now maybe.
And so like kind of like equating to this little walk we're taking. All I seen was a little point of a building sticking up in the distance, and all I knew is I wanted to go see what that was.
Right.
And that's all I knew. And now we can get a much better view of it here. And so this is the Lions Bridge, and this is exactly where He led me. So the closer we get to the top of this bridge, the better our perspective's getting. You know what I mean? Same with me. And so the same as the further we got up this way, the clearer this picture became, and the beauty of it. I mean, just look at this, man. You know, I'm from I'm from a town with a red light and a Walmart. You know, I had never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
I had never seen no sailboats or no seagull like that, or you know. So I was just mesmerized.
So you're driving along. You and Laura Beth are driving along, and you're mesmerized with this view that you have.
Yes.
And so what happens? Tell us what.
Well,
you're driving in the stolen car.
I'm like a bug or like a moth to a bug zapper right here is what's happening. But the Lord had all this planned out. But I'm being drawn to this beautiful architecture. I want to see what's going on right here. And so this is the Lions Bridge. It's a very famous bridge. It's a drawbridge. And so we're driving in our stolen car over this bridge. And if you can see the little red light right there, I'm going to assume that's where there's automatic tag readers. And sorry about that.
Sorry.
I'm going to assume that's where them tag readers are at, because after what happens is I go over this bridge in our stolen car, and from the time I get to the bottom of the bridge, which is not a very big bridge, the time I get to the bottom of the bridge, the police have been alerted that my tag is stolen. And I remember seeing the cop get behind me and follow me. And I, didn't think too much of it. He didn't have no lights on or anything. And I remember seeing the cop come out and get behind me. And there's a little place down here called 123 Burger. And it might be a quarter of a mile, might be a half a mile from where we're about to be standing.
Yeah.
And that's where there was about 15 cops at that point.
At the 123 Burger?
Yeah, he flipped his lights on right before the 123 Burger. He followed me for a while. I'm starting to think, wow, he's followed me for a while now. And he flipped his lights on, and I just immediately pulled over. I never was that kind of criminal. When I got caught,
Yeah.
So I just pulled her over there, and I said, well, this is it, honey. I knew we was in a stolen car.
So you said before it's like O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, exactly.
How many police cars was it?
So at this time, there's just one car, and he flips on his lights, and I pull over. And when he pulls in behind me, they start coming from all directions: white cars, black cars, blue cars, and it looked like the O.J. Simpson chase. You remember that?
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to see the beautiful buildings that you can see in the distance. The cops get on me at the bottom of the bridge. I didn't find out till later. When I was being booked in, they told me that, and I'm gonna assume they're right there. But there's automatic tag readers on this bridge, if that's good information for anybody. But he said they do the work of 10 officers. And so
Wow.
they sure got me that day. And so as I'm getting arrested at 123 Burger, I told Laura Beth I loved her. And it was so funny too, man. It was so chaotic. There had to be 20 cops. They all had their guns out because all they know is a suspect with a stolen car. That's all they know. And so they're not, they don't take any chances when it's that serious. So guns are out. They're screaming at me. They tell me to get out. She stays in the car. They say, "Put your hands behind your head and keep your back to us." And maybe they were training like a rookie cop that day or something. I don't know. But so he says, "Okay, walk backwards to the sound of my partner's voice." Okay. And so that was the cue for his partner to say something to me so I'd know which way to walk. The partner clammed up. I could hear him stuttering. And I'm going, "He's not speaking. He's not saying anything. He's trying, but he can't." I guess he's so excited, Right. And I'm like, I thought I was going to get shot. You know what I mean? Shot, yeah. And so he finally got me going where I was going.
Was Laura Beth?
Laura Beth stays in the car.
Was she nervous?
Oh, yeah.
Could you see her
to death.
Could you see her face?
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of, when I seen the lights come on, I said, "This is it, honey." This was the biggest charge I'd ever got. I mean, just to be honest, I committed a lot of crimes. But my rap sheet is a lot of misdemeanors. So I'd go to jail for 2 or 3 months here, or 30 days here, and I do that a lot. So I never really got. This was my first felony charge I was going up against. This was grand theft auto, and so what they did is they put me in the car. They left her in the car, and they started to ask me all these questions. And I'm honest, you got the right guy. And they said, "What about the girl?" And I lied, and I told them that I didn't know her, that I just picked her up a few minutes ago.
Cut that part out.
Yeah, and that's what I told them, and so and God made use of that too, because they let her go immediately.
Right.
They put me in cuffs, take me to jail, grand theft auto. That's when they tell me the tag readers got me. So at that point, and it would be great if we could get a moment with Laura Beth to pick up right here, because that's what happened. Is from this point, I go to jail for about 6 months.
Right.
And Laura Beth is thrust out onto the street. This is the first time we've been in Tennessee and things. We'd been couch surfers. We had been, different family members, whatever. We were as close to homeless as homeless could be, but we wasn't fully homeless with no one or nothing until this point.
Right.
So at this point, Laura Beth is thrust out alone onto the street. I'm going to jail, and we're separated for the next 6 months.
Wow.
And this is really where it heats up, though, because this was the turning point. I was on my way out of town to blow on to the next town. This is where God wanted me.
Yeah. Did you talk to God and say what? At that point, did you say? Were you in touch with him to say,
no,
what are you doing to me?
And inside, I'm starting to think about him a little bit.
Yeah.
Because even up until this point, I haven't. The biggest part hasn't happened with some of the people and things, but there's been little things, like there was a truck driver that brought us all the way to Florida from Georgia.
What about that truck driver?
Yeah, it was a crazy thing. So I've stole 5 cars in my life, and this one I just told you about was the 5th one. There was also a car that I stole to leave Tennessee to head to Florida, and I made it about 2 hours into Georgia, and was arrested for driving on suspended. The car wasn't stolen yet, because again, it was a car that I borrowed that somebody thought I'd bring back. It was actually my drug dealer's car, to be perfectly honest with you. I borrowed his car and never brought it back. So I don't think he could report it stolen, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't his car either. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Praise God, because I didn't go to this. There would be another Richard I'd be talking to in Georgia, which doesn't matter. God can do His plan anywhere He wants to.
Absolutely.
But this is where He intended for me to be, and so I stole the car in Tennessee, and with the ideal of going to Florida, made it to Georgia, a place called Cartersville, Georgia, and they took the car. Of course, they impounded the car, put me in jail. Oh man, it's an amazing story, man. I've been to jail a lot of times. I've never in my life seen this. I began to tell these guys, the inmates, a little bit about what we got going on. We're wanting to change our life. We're wanting to leave where we're from and go. And I guess it moved the inmates so much, and this is a miracle. These guys reached in their socks in jail. I'm in jail with them, and pulled out cash money and gave me the money to bond out.
In jail?
In the jail, the inmates.
How do they have cash in jail?
I've never seen that. I've been to jail a lot of places. I've never seen cash money in the jail. And that's what happened. They were moved. Hey, buddy. Good to see you, man. That guy's he's a local music legend.
Is he?
Yeah, Don Oja Dunaway. His brother's the bass player for 38 Special.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, great guy. Loves the Lord.
Good for him.
And so those guys gave me the money to bond out in
So
Georgia.
they had money.
Yeah, cash money.
They gave you cash
And
money
gave it to me.
in the jail.
Yeah, it was like $80 or something I needed, you know. And my story wasn't even nowhere near as good as it is now. I was just beginning.
It's just a startup.
Just them hearing me, a man that wanted to get away from where he was getting in all his problems and trouble from, and go to a new place and try to start. 'Cause that's all I had at that. That's all I really knew I wanted to do.
And where was Laura Beth?
She was outside of the jail in the lobby, sleeping, waiting on me.
She slept in the lobby every day?
Yeah, I went. I just had to stay overnight.
Overnight?
Because
okay.
that all happened in that one day. I thought I was going to be there a week or two because I didn't have any money to bond out.
So what's the truck driver?
So that from there, I get out of jail and we make our way to. We're walking toward the interstate. I didn't know what we were going to do, and so we go, and it's a Circle K near the interstate. And so what I was doing, I knew it was all about Florida. I knew I wanted to go to Florida, didn't know why. So I would wait for cars to pull in that had Florida plates. And when I would just walk up and straight up ask them if they would take us to Florida. You know?
That's actually smart.
Yeah, and nobody would. Nobody would, because
You look kind of rough.
Yeah, I just got out of jail, and I got this girl. We're sitting under a tree. You know, I got a guitar and a girl. And we're a sketchy looking situation. So nobody would fool with us. I done that all day long in the heat. I remember she was getting hot, and we were starting to argue. You know, it wasn't a great day. So we were just at the point of giving up, and I remember we were gonna go find somewhere to lay down. You know, find somewhere like quiet to sleep or something. And we're sitting under this tree, and there's a tree, and it's got all the cars can pull in, and all the people getting gas. And we're having this conversation, trying to figure out where we're going to go. And this big truck, semi, pulls up, and it's a Spanish guy. And I seen on his door it said Miami, like maybe where his truck company was out of. Yeah. And he said, "Where are you going?" And he was hauling cars. And I said, "We're going to Florida." He's like, "That's where I'm going."
He was hauling cars?
He was hauling cars. It was one of those car haulers. Yeah. And man, I was like,
He's going to Florida.
He's going to Florida, and I remember we were so tired, we were so spent, that we were so happy. We climbed up into his cab. Laura Beth got in the back in the sleeper. I got in the passenger seat, and I remember being so tired and so thankful. And I was thinking, I never even got a conversation. I never even told this man where I needed to go, and I needed to go over there to Brooksville because at this point, there's another part of the story, but a man had stole my guitar. And so I needed to go. I was going to get my guitar. That's where I was going at this point. So I was on this little side mission to go get my guitar.
Is that the guitar you play now that you got back?
No.
Whatever happened to that?
It got impounded in a car, and I never could find it again.
Really?
So the Lord used that to draw me where He was drawing me.
No.
I was chasing this guitar. I was really chasing the Lord, but I was chasing this guitar, and now the guitar's gone. It was so precious to me at that time. It means nothing now. You know what I mean? Because it was just a means to an end. But the man, I never even told the man. All he knew was we needed to go to Florida. I think he realized it probably didn't matter. We didn't have, it wasn't
just
like
hitchhike wherever.
Yeah, and so he picked us up, and I remember maybe 5 minutes falling asleep. Laura Beth was already asleep because we were so tired, and we got in these nice big chairs, and I was out, and I fell asleep. And so all I know, and it's a crazy story, man. So all I know is I fell asleep, I blacked out, I wake up, and we're stopped at a gas pump. And I don't know anything about anything, and so just keep in mind I was looking to go to Brooksville to get my guitar, and so I wake up, and the man he kind of opens the door, and he's talking, "Hey, good to see you," and he kind of opens the door and says, "Hey, you want to get out?" And he asked me about getting out because he's hauling cars, and he asked me to get in a car because some kind of station check that's going to be coming up down the road. He wants me to get in the car, and Laura Beth can hide in the sleeper. And so I'm like, a little sketchy, but I'm like, all right. So I get out of the car, and out of the truck, and I'm explaining this to Laura Beth, and she don't like it. And so I was like, all right, well, let me just go inside the store for a minute. You sit right here in the passenger seat. I'm going to go in and get us something. steal something, you know.
Not another pie.
No, they don't have pies there, but I'm, you know, whatever it is. And so I'm in the store looking around, and all of a sudden, Laura Beth comes up behind me out of the truck, and she said that the truck driver got in the truck and said some things that made her uncomfortable.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so she got out and immediately come in the store, and she told me a little bit about it, and I was like, all right. So we went, you know, the truck drivers, they fill up on the back side of the place.
Yeah.
So we walk through the store and we go out the front and we just walk. I was like, we're not even gonna fool with that anymore.
Yeah.
And so we just start walking. I don't know where we're at. It's in the middle of the night. And I remember we're near the interstate, and I could look up and see the interstate sign, and it said Brooksville.
No way.
I kid
No
you
way,
not.
man.
We're in Brooksville, Florida. I never told him. All I told him was we need to go to Florida, and his truck said Miami. So you know,
Why did he
I don't
stop
know
in
if that's. I don't know where he was going, but I know that's where we were, man.
So you said, I'm going to not go get my guitar.
Yep. And our crazy little side story. That night, and I realized we're in Brooksville. That's one of the bigger things that's starting to happen. I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? Like,
something like that.
You know, I'm not giving God glory, and I'm not looking to Him real hard at this point. But that's another thing that went in the bank.
Yeah.
That I couldn't hardly call coincidence.
He's building it.
Yeah. I mean, I can't call this coincidence.
He's revealing himself.
Yeah. Yeah. This was all, you know, I messed up as much of it as I could, but He's still so good, man, that he still looked up, he looked through my mistakes and didn't give up on me and didn't quit on me, man.
So what happened when you were looking for the guitar? Where did you go?
So that night, when I realized it was in Brooksville, we're walking, and my goodness, I'm probably incriminating myself, but what we did was there was a place that was selling RVs or campers, you know?
Right.
And I jimmied one of the windows open on one of the for sale campers, and we climbed through the window and stayed in the RV that night. And, you know.
Pretty smart.
Yeah, well, I don't, you know, I didn't get, nothing ever happened.
You didn't hurt it. You didn't.
Yeah, and so we stayed. We got up super early and left before daylight, and so I began to make my way. And it's crazy. I'd only been there. What had happened a few years before this? I had a cousin that lived in. I can't remember the name of the town, but he lived in a little place down here in Florida, and it wasn't too far from Brooksville. But I had came and spent a couple of weeks with him, or a little bit of time with him, and you know. And so I came back, so I kind of knew where that area was, and I had came, and this person that stole my guitar, I had met him there during that time, okay? And so I had been around this area a little bit, and so I just began to try to find and make my way to this man's house to get my guitar. He stole my guitar.
Did you find him?
I did. I did
find him?
I did. I found him. We showed up in this, it's actually a little town outside of Brooksville, and I can't remember what it's called. It's like 1,000 people live there. And so I showed up on his front door, and even then, I weigh more now than I did then, but he was a little dude, so I was a lot bigger than him. But and so I just showed up at his door, and I said, you're giving me that guitar, man. Yeah. And he did. He just gave it to me.
He gave it to you?
Yeah, it was kind of way easier than I thought, you know?
Really?
Yeah, there was no fight or no struggle. Because what he'd done, he kicked us out of his car, and he just took off with it in his car.
Oh,
and
so maybe he didn't know you had
well,
it.
I was calling him and trying to get a hold of him, and he wasn't going to give it back. But seeing a man that you kicked out of your car in Tennessee show up at your house in Florida, I mean, at least meant he was serious about getting his guitar back.
Well, that was the same guitar you had over your shoulder with the pork chops.
Yeah, it's been a lot of places.
When you met
Yes, that guitar, we had been a lot of places together.
Yeah, man.
And that happened, so that's what led. I got my guitar back, so now we're kind of stuck in this little town. We don't really know where we're going or what we want to do. And so, honestly, I hate that I did this, but I took advantage. I ended up taking advantage, and my intention wasn't to take advantage, but a man, eventually, we were living under a bridge.
Yeah.
Under a bridge, and there's gators and everything, man. She was so scared, and it wasn't the place for us to be, and we didn't stay there very long. So, but we're staying under this bridge, and a man came to me one day, and I was somewhere just like on the side of the road in a little parking lot playing music, and I guess he liked the way it sounded, you know, and he offered to let us stay at his house. And I'll never forget him. His name was RJ, and he let us stay at his house, and so we did that. We went and stayed at his house for a good bit of time, and this is where I ended up with his car. It's his car that I got arrested here.
What happened to the guitar? It got impounded.
Well, the guitar, once we got arrested,
Oh yeah, the guitar was in the car.
Well, no, what happened, this is crazy, man. There's just so much, man. The guitar, when I got arrested here with the guitar, Laura Beth took it with her.
Right.
Because it's in the car. So she took it. They impounded every time I'd ever get arrested or pulled out, they're taking my car. And so this one especially, it was reported stolen. So, but they let Laura Beth go, and I guess she told me it was her guitar. So she takes the guitar, and she plays guitar. And at this time, she's so shy now, but this time she'd play a little bit. She's got some good stories about some of her escapades playing.
She play left-handed as well?
No, oh my goodness.
That's weird. So
she would unstring my left-handed guitar and make it right-handed.
Oh, nice.
And because she'd seen me do it so many times to make a right-handed left-handed. She would unstring the thing, flip around the nut, and make it right-handed. Right. And that's exactly what she did.
Wow.
And so she was out here on the street with my guitar. If you fast forward a little bit through everything, there come a point where so by the time I get out of jail, Laura Beth is in jail. Laura Beth, so in Brooksville, when the car was reported stolen, they reported the car stolen from Brooksville for me and her. He knew our names. He knew who we were living with him. So they reported the car stolen, and they're looking for us in Brooksville. So the fact that I made it here to St. Augustine in the stolen car, the warrant hadn't made it, or the warrant, I don't guess they ever run her name.
Yeah.
So they let her go. They put me in jail here because they caught me here for the warrant out of Brooksville. So Laura Beth spends a couple weeks out here by herself on the street, and at some point her name gets ran. And when her name gets ran, she has a warrant in Brooksville for the same stolen car.
Okay.
So they put her in jail here for a week or two, and they transport her back to Brooksville.
I got it.
So by the time I get out of jail, Laura Beth's in jail in Brooksville. I found it took me a few days to figure all this out, and I went to jail here. We're both going to stand trial and charges in two separate places. And so it was a crazy thing. And so my goal at that time, getting out here, I was on probation. I was trying to figure out when her court date was going to be, and I could gauge about how much time I had done, about how much time she was going to do. And so my whole goal at that point was to try to get to Laura Beth somehow with no car, no way. And it's a 4-hour drive from here.
Yeah.
And I remember looking it up. It was a 3-day walk. And so
you didn't start walking.
No, but I was actually to that point where I was trying. All I knew to do at that time was when I got out of jail and I started to experience what it's like to live out here and to be on the street and to try to get by. Honestly, my first night out here, if you go to the bottom of this bridge, there's benches. And I remember when I was going to find my first place to sleep, there was benches and homeless people were in every single one of them except one. And I got in that one empty bench, and at 3 o'clock in the morning, the sprinklers come on, and it only wets that bench. So these guys already knew. They already knew. And so
woke you up.
That was my first night here. Yeah. But at that time, I was trying to get to Laura Beth. That's all I knew to do. I was being integrated into the probation system. The probation people told me that there was a 99.5 or 6% chance that I was going to fail probation because that's the percentage of probation failures here. And so they weren't painting a very optimistic picture. Right. And honestly, they were right. If I wouldn't have found the Lord in the middle of all this, I would be in prison right now, for sure. Because that's what probation, if you have a charge like that, whatever amount of time you're given, if you mess up your probation, you're going to go do the rest of that in prison. Okay. And so we both had prison hanging over our heads. And so what I was doing, it's a beautiful thing. It's called Dining with Dignity. And at 6 o'clock every evening, they just moved it outside of town a little bit. It's still near town, but at this time, downtown at 6 p.m., you can go. A different church comes every day and provides a meal for all the homeless.
Right.
And it's like an oasis. It's a beautiful thing when you're in that situation. And I've been on that receiving end of that so many times. That was one of the things I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, I never seen anything like that.
Yeah, it's like good food.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, they were out there grilling and stuff, And so
those Baptists can cook.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that's a as far if you want to do any kind of homeless ministry, that's a great place to start.
Really?
Because that's where there's a whole congregation at 6 p.m. every day, and that was me. And I met a guy down there, man. I met a guy. I would just get my meal, and he lived in his car. And by the grace of God, this guy agreed over a few days of meeting him and getting to know him, this guy agreed, because at that time my story was, I would tell my story, and my story was I've got this girl that I love that's across the state in jail, and her court date was coming up. I had found her court date, and so it was coming crunch time, because it was like the next day, and I'm telling this guy and sort of pleading with him if maybe he would give me a ride. And so it's so crazy. My all I could do, I had no money. I told him I'd pay for the gas, and so what we would have to do, if he agreed to it, was stop at a Walmart every now and then, and I would go in and steal hammocks. You know what
a hammock?
A hammock.
You mean sleep in a hammock?
Yeah, because they're about $50.
Yeah.
And they're little bitty bags.
Yeah.
These little bag hammocks.
Yeah.
And I'd steal one or two of them and put them down the front of my shorts. And if you take something back to Walmart and you don't have a receipt, they'll give you a Walmart card. And so we would go to one Walmart and steal it, and I'd go to another Walmart and I'd take it back, and they would give me the Walmart card, and we would use the Walmart card at a Walmart that had a gas station and use it for gas. And so that's all I could offer, and he agreed to it.
Okay.
And me and this character are going across the state to try to get to Lord Beth's court date. And craziest thing, man. So when she was arrested, of course they had her with my guitar. So she's arrested in Brooksville, and she took my guitar to Brooksville with her. It was such I wish I could convey all that I went through, because I was at the point where if that guy would have said no, I was going to try to begin to walk. Yeah, you know, and I don't know what all that would look like, but it wasn't going to be good, because even if the phone tells you it's a 3-day walk, that's assuming you ain't going to stop. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's longer than a 3-day walk.
Exactly.
You know?
It's a week.
Yeah. So
then you got to steal stuff along the way to eat.
Yeah, man. It was going to be a whole thing, and I probably wasn't going to make it on time. And but he
agreed to do that.
He brought me, and I remember finally making it all the way over there, and and I sat in her court date, and they postponed her court date.
Oh no!
They postponed it and set it off. I didn't even get to see it. Yes.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, man! I was so upset.
So where did?
And they put it off for like 60 days. You know what I mean? Like it was 45 or 60 days. I can't remember.
So you stayed out on the street for 60 days waiting for her? Or what?
Yeah. Well, I go back and I tell the guy that you know what had just happened, and so we're deciding to make our way back. And so then a little light bulb goes off, because at this point I'd been out here without a guitar or anything. You know, she had my guitar and she had took it back, and I said, well, you know what? I'm going to try to see if I can bond this guitar out.
Right.
If they're not going to let me have Laura Beth, I'm going to try to get this guitar, see if they'll release her property to me.
Right.
And so, and it was this whole thing, because you got to understand, when you're living that lifestyle, you don't, like, I didn't have an ID, I didn't have anything, like no documents or nothing, and they want all that. Right. And so I have to talk this guy in, and he's a character too. He's living a crazy life too, this guy that brought me, okay? He's not like the most clean cut, you know, by the book guy you ever seen. Right. And I have to go out here and convince him to walk into the booking office here and explain that he needs her property released to him, and that he's kind of like her Uncle Mark, and she didn't even know him. And at first he wasn't going to do it, but he went in and done this for me. No way. And so Lord Beth agreed from the inside to release, so I got my guitar back. And so that brings us to a point where I didn't get the girl, but I got the guitar.
Got the guitar.
So we come back across the state, and I had to wait the time again, but that began, and maybe we can go down here and see it, Richard, but that began a time when I showed back up with my guitar, and I found my way downtown to the street, and I began to play on the street.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then things slowly began to happen for me doing that. And and it's a beautiful thing, because I found my way back to Laura Beth through another man, and this other man, his name's Joel. And Joel's a really cool guy. He's one of those friends you'll have him for your whole life. Oh yeah. And he met me, and he took me eventually to get her on her second court date, and they did let her out.
You still in touch with Joel?
I do. He lives in Naples, Florida.
Wow.
And he come into my life, and at a time when my life was crazy, and still decided his life was put together.
So what I find a common denominator in all of your whole story is the kindness of people willing to reach out and help you.
Yeah, and it was doing something for me, man.
Yeah, that was.
Sometimes we think our actions and our acts don't mean a whole lot. They might go unnoticed, or sometimes when we don't see an immediate response, even sometimes we think that maybe are we really making a difference in somebody's life or anything for the Lord. And sometimes it's important to just allow the Lord and time to do the work that it does in somebody's heart. We may not ever see that fruit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we can plant that seed, man, and have faith that, just like the Lord says, he said when his word goes forth, it don't come back void, you know what I mean? It's going to do what he intended for it to do. We may not ever see that.
Amen.
You know, like Abraham, he didn't ever see the full fulfillment of the promises, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they sure did happen.
He
believed and he didn't have no problem. He didn't have no problem not seeing that, you know?
Yeah. Imagine waiting for your kid until you're 90, right?
That's right. So right as we make this turn, we're gonna jump on the route so the Lions Bridge is right there. This is the route I took. So I come to the bottom, and I'm mesmerized at this point. You know, I'm seeing, look at this stuff. I mean, that's some beautiful architecture. They don't have that kind of. They have beautiful scenes where I'm from, but nothing like that.